everyone. Welcome to 1.5 Degrees, the podcast where together we explore the science, solutions, and stories involved in the fight against climate change. I'm your host, Heidi Pan, speaking with the professionals behind the latest research, policies, culture, and innovations shaping our response to global environmental challenges. For today's episode, we are incredibly honored to be joined by Dez McGill, who is a climate creator bringing awareness to complex climate issues and initiatives in an accessible way through her social media platforms, EarthToDezz. Dez earned her Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology and completed her Terra Du Fellowship, Climate Change Learned for Action. Today, she has dedicated her career to combating climate change and is recognized as a climate creator to watch for 2023. She also co-hosts Pique Action, advocates for alternative solutions to the Daiichi Project, and is an ambassador for the 1 million tree planting campaign for Uganda. Thank you so much for being here, Dez. It's really an honor.
Thank you for having me, Heidi. I'm very excited to be here today.
Really excited for this conversation.
Sorry, my dog has popped, so she wants to be a part of
it. No, definitely, it's such an honor, Luna, as well. Okay. So I mean, I guess to start, so you have a bachelor's degree in kinesiology. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But you've decided to dedicate your career to fighting climate change. What led you to doing this, I guess, like pivot and becoming a climate creator?
Yeah, that's a really great question. Oh man, so I guess so I got my degree in kinesiology and my path was to becoming a physician associate. And so as I was working after I graduated in 2021, I was working in a physical therapy clinic and I was obtaining my patient care experience that I needed. And that's like when it was like kind of in the midst of the pandemic, and obviously social media has been like how do I want to say this? Social media has really just, I think, been more used since the pandemic, and I was just seeing that the climate crisis was continuously getting worse and worse, and I think I was also just getting a whole bunch of like eco-anxiety because of that, and because I was just seeing news constantly, and I was at work, and I just felt like I was in the wrong place. I loved what I was doing with my patients, but I just felt like I could be doing more. And the environment for me has just always been a passion of mine since I was a kid. Um, it's funny enough, like you can ask my parents, I used to like hoard like receipts and papers and things like that just because I remember when I first used Google, I was like, where does our trash go? That's what I used Google for. And then I found out that it was just landfills, and I was like, oh my gosh. So as a child, I was like, well, if I hold everything in my room, then it will never end up in the landfill. But anyways, that's just like, I've always just been super cautious about the environment growing up. And so that's when I decided to start my fellowship with Terra Du, just so I can get like further education around this and see if this is something that I'm truly interested in. Because I also just have like, I like to pick up a lot of hobbies, and I'm like, is this just like another thing I'm just trying to get attached? And so I think through that fellowship, it really helped guide me to see that like this could be a career option for me, because I don't think growing up I didn't see a lot of people working in the environmental field, and I didn't know that was an option where you could actually make money on top of that. And so basically what led me to being a climate creator was just like, I was worried about the environment. So I was like, let me just start by educating my friends and family first. So that's why I started my EarthToDezz page. Little did I know that it would blow up very quickly, and now I would have an expanded community, which I'm very appreciative of. And so now I just have this opportunity to educate people online, and I'm just very excited about that.
Yeah, no, it's really cool that you I mean, I kind of found myself in a similar position actually, with what you were saying about like the pandemic and social media and also like eco-anxiety. Um to turn that into, I guess, like action is really inspiring, yeah. And so I guess like in doing social media work, you have a series on your page called Do You Know Them? Where you highlight really, really cool, important figures in the climate movement. Is there anyone in particular who you would say inspires you in also like the work that you do?
So I guess there are a couple people. One that first like comes straight, well, one that first, oh gosh, okay, yeah, there's a couple people, but one that really comes straight to mind when you ask me that is my friend Dixon Bahanagira. So he's actually the visionary behind the 1 million tree planting campaign that I'm an ambassador for.
Mm.
And man, he is such an amazing person, and he's just really inspiring because he has this just ambitious drive to really take action. I think in his country, in regards to politics around environmental justice, there's just not enough advocacy there. So
Mhm.
he has just, that is kind of part of his story because he's personally been affected by the floods in Uganda, but also he just really wanted to take action and to be a part of the solution. And so, I mean, so far he's already planted over 100,000 trees out there,
That's really
and
cool. Yeah.
more than 400,000 trees, and those are within 10 different species. And oh gosh, sorry. Another thing that really inspires me with Dixon is I tend to kind of get into my head and get really down and sad about things, but he has just this optimistic, just bit or oh gosh, now I'm losing words. It's the COVID brain. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, take your time. I get that.
Dixon has this optimistic like lens on the world, and he's just
Mhm.
like very positive even when things are not looking the best. Um, and I just am really appreciative to have gotten to know him over the year because I think he's had an impact on like keeping me going as a climate creator, especially when I go through my mental health phases, is what I'll call them. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
another person that I do just like quickly want to highlight that I
Oh, yeah.
recently learned
Mhm.
this year. His name is Dr. John Francis. And I thought it was really inspiring because he decided that after he witnessed a big oil spill in the San Francisco Bay Area, that he decided right then and there that he was going to give up driving because he was like, I kind of had an impact on like causing the spill because I'm, driving cars, or was driving a car at the time. And so he decided to travel the US and a little bit of South America for 22 years. And he traveled on foot that whole time. I think he may have sailed for a little bit too, but he didn't take any vehicles. And he was really just learning about the planet and learning about different people's perspectives on how they view the planet and how it really affects their personal communities and stuff like that. And I think what's also so powerful is that during that time, he stayed silent for 17 years. And so he was really just taking in what other people were saying. And I think that's really inspiring. It has inspired me to want to go ahead and travel the US and kind of introduce myself to other people around the country and get to know their perspectives as well. So I think he's a really cool guy. Definitely look him up.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, I will be sure to do so. That's so cool. Wow, that's a really long time as well. I think it's yeah, no, those are really inspirational people. And I think like in like the both of them and also like I guess like all of us are the same thing of just like seeing something and wanting to do something about it. That's really cool. And also I think like in bringing up optimism, I think that's also really important. I definitely want to I guess like talk more about eco-anxiety in a bit. But like to it's really important to kind of balance yourself in order to keep yourself going in this work because it can get so heavy sometimes. Um, but I guess like kind of staying on the lighter side for now. What is your I guess like favorite part about being a climate creator, and I guess also what does being a climate creator entail exactly?
Yeah. Those are once again great question. I think first, my favorite part about being a climate creator is just knowing that I am doing my part to give back. I think there's a lot of problems in this world. There's a lot of, yeah, we have a lot of different problems and issues in this world, and it's really easy to get fixated on the negative things. But find, being a part of the solution is like really helpful for me, especially in coping with my eco and climate anxiety. Um, And so just knowing that my platform is being used for good is really motivating for me, and just knowing that I'm making a difference just being one person on this planet. Um, I think like one when one of my videos went viral in regards to the Fukushima project, it was very eye-opening that like there are a lot of people that are also worried about this, and they like want to take action. Like that was the number one thing that I pulled away from that video, is that people are like, okay, this is a problem, what can I do to help? And so I really just enjoy as a climate creator that I can provide that platform for people to get educated. And something that I've been recently working on is like not only educating people, but now I need to provide actions for people to take. That's something that I'm like going to be transitioning into more, is talking about more climate action and climate success stories as well. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool that you're also like, and I mean education is so important, but that also like you're hoping to work on like stuff related to like turning what people learn into, I guess, like action and being a part of that kind of like transitioning in a sense. And like I mean, I've learned a lot from your platform, that's for sure. And so thank you for sharing that. Do you have any like particularly memorable experiences or moments that have stood out to you from your career as, I guess, like a climate creator?
There are a couple. I guess, yeah, well, first of all, I guess like one would be that video that I was recently talking about with the Fukushima project, because it went viral overnight and it was kind of like the boom of my community. And it was just inspiring to see that, you know, it almost got 1 million views in just a couple days. Into, I think that just that excitement was memorable for me. And then also recently this year, I was recognized by Pique Action in Harvard as a climate creator to watch. And I experience a lot of imposter syndrome, and I always am questioning like, am I in the right place? Um, do I deserve to be here? Am I smart enough? Like, I have all these worries, and I think having that recognition was really eye opening to me, and a little bit more settling for my emotions. Of course, I still go through my everyday thoughts, but
Mhm.
I just feel like truly blessed that because I feel like I was put on this planet to really help people and to kind of bring us together, and to teach each other how to not only love the planet but love one another. So I think being recognized by Peak Action and Harvard was definitely one of the most memorable things for me. Yeah, I didn't get into Harvard, but got recognized. So
Gosh, the imposter syndrome like aspect, I also feel that a lot. And I don't know, like for what it's worth, I think you definitely deserve to be on that list, and it's really cool that you were recognized for that. Um so in I guess like the conversation earlier about like in maintaining hope and action, I guess how do you personally balance the need to communicate the urgency of climate change with the need to inspire hope and action?
yeah, and I really like this question, because this is something that I'm still actively trying to figure out, especially on my platform.
Mhm.
I've only been on doing social media for about a year now, so I feel new to it still. But people say I'm grandfathered in at this point, um, or grandmothered in. It doesn't need to be father. Um, but um, uh, I guess in regards to climate and eco anxiety, um, I like to be real with my community, like where we are and where we stand.
Mm.
And that's something that I feel like you'll find on my page, is that I kind of just report it as it is. And something I'm looking to transition into more is to provide people with more good news and good positive news with climate work. And I think that's why I'm super appreciative to work with Peak Action, since their platform solely only focuses on climate solutions and just getting away from doom scrolling.
Mm.
Um, wait, sorry. You're asking about balance.
Optimism, climate, hope.
And so I'm just kidding.
No, hold on. Like you're literally, I literally do the same thing. So I'm just like, sorry, I don't know. You're all good. Yeah, no, take your time.
Take a breath, and then I think I'll be okay. Like,
Get some water. We're chilling.
so yeah, I guess in regards to balancing the need to report in climate news and then instilling hope in climate action, that's something I'm still figuring out. I used to do this series called The Good and the Bad, which I don't know why I stopped it. Maybe just because my ADHD and I like keep trying to do 5 billion different series. But I was like starting off with like, okay, this is some bad news, and then like ending okay, but this is some good news. So like when people are watching my video, they're ending on a positive note. Um, and I also am like thinking that I want to start transitioning using the live, like TikTok lives or Instagram lives, and start doing. I recently was a part of uh, another, uh, gosh, can I think English words?
Words are hard. Words are so hard.
It's a nonprofit organization called, well, it's a 350, and this one that's based in the Bay Area, and so they're taking climate action, and so we kind of just did like a whole like Zoom meeting taking action together. So that inspired me to kind of want to do that on my own platforms, is just kind of have like my live feed and be able to like sign petitions or call senators with people online. I think just having that um providing that space on my platform where people can take action weekly during a certain time together will help people kind of feel better, and that they started doing um their own small steps to take climate action. Because I think right now like the hardest thing is like people get caught up in not knowing where to start. And like we don't need a whole bunch of people doing like everything perfect, like being the perfect environmentalist. We just need a whole bunch of people being imperfect and trying their best and doing what they can to help heal this planet together. I hate using the term like save the planet, because like we just need to heal it. We don't need to save it. I feel like it'd be fine without the humans here anyways, but
Yeah, no, I totally resonate with the aspect of like it's a big part of I guess like the rising in eco anxiety is just how difficult it is to kind of step into this because of like sometimes it's just where do you begin, and I think that's so awesome that you're thinking about doing something like that. I think that that would be really a big help, and yeah, no, that's really cool. Um, so, and in doing that, you are working with social media, and social media is definitely becoming a big tool in the sphere of like climate change and environmental work. But both of them are definitely, you know, as we've kind of, I guess, established, they're incredibly intertwined with mental health. Um, what are some resources that you have found helpful and you know, I guess like, yeah.
okay. Well, of course, therapy. I would definitely say if you have the ability to have access to therapy, I find that super helpful, just to like at least have someone. I mean, you don't even need therapy necessarily. You know, it could be a parent or a friend, a family member or a friend, just someone to bounce some of your ideas in your head off of. Because I think in our heads we can get really caught up with thoughts and get in loops of things, and for the most part we make things worse inside of our head than they actually are. And so I think just being able to talk that out with people is really nice. And then another thing that really helps keep me going is getting outside. I have to like, I remember like last month I went on a hike for the first time in a really long time,
Mhm.
and during a sunset, and just everything was just beautiful. And then I was like, oh yeah, this is why I do what I do, because of this. Like, I love being outside and enjoying nature, and I think that's something that society kind of has lost connection with recently. It's just like being outside and being thankful for like the resources that this earth has provided for us naturally. So I think yeah, just getting outside is really something that helps keep me going because it reminds me like what I'm working towards. And then also being around my nieces and nephews and some of my younger family members, because I remind myself like that is the generation that I am fighting for. I am fighting for a better life for them because um, I don't want them to have to grow up the way that our generation did with all this eco and climate anxiety. Obviously, there's always going to be something to work towards to help heal this planet, but I want to do what I can to limit those worries for the generations to come because they deserve a sustainable and habitable planet that they don't have to worry about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And yeah, no, I mean, I also have anxiety, and so like just the aspect of sometimes I get into and over my head and things, and it really is so helpful to have conversation. I think, in kind of like be it eco anxiety or also like, working towards action and being able to like figure out what to do from anxiety and such. Um and also to like keep the things in your life that give you like purpose and are kind of like grounding yourself and reminding yourself why we do the things we do is really important. I think staying close to nature especially, and staying in close with the people in our lives, that's really important. Thank you.
And if I could just add too,
Oh
like, I
yeah.
think trying to get involved in a community so you don't feel alone,
Mm.
whether that's online or in person. I just think having that support group as well is good, especially because you'll find people with similar interests. And I think in today's time it's really hard to make friends, so I think just kind of trying to find a community that you can volunteer with to get outside and picking up trash or whatever, that also really helps feel better. It's just having that human connection. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think like community is definitely really important. I think to like, again, have those like have other people to speak to. I mean, I don't know, like human connection is you gotta be connected with other people. I mean, yeah, no, definitely. Um, so I guess like going in 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 being like we kind of talked about how it there are some like
Same.
sorry, literally. Okay. Breathing, we're good. Yeah, so what is one piece of advice that you have for those who may be considering a pivot to climate careers and for those who I guess might be aspiring climate creators and activists?
Yeah. I think some advice that I can give is start small and start local. Start with, issues in your own backyard and figure out what you're passionate about. Of course, I'm blanking on her name right now, and maybe I can tell you later, but
Mhm.
I'm not sure if, oh gosh, am I gonna say this right? I'm not sure if you heard of the Japanese concept ikigai. I don't know if I said. I hope I said that. But yeah, so it's basically about, long story short, finding your life's purpose and like what you were put on this planet to do. And so someone was trying tying in that concept with climate activism. And so I think if you take those two things and try to figure out like um where oh gosh, I'm like trying to pull these words out of my head.
I'm trying to pull them with you.
Oh, this is so frustrating.
I mean, I definitely recognize that. Actually, I've heard of that term before, and also I think I came across it somewhere recently. But yeah, no, about like finding purpose.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think like figuring out like where your talents lie and like what you can bring to the table and like how you can turn that into money. And maybe how you can play that in the role of like climate activism. So for me, I knew that I really liked doing entertainment, and I was like, I didn't do content creation yet, but I knew that was something I was interested in, and so that's why I found like my segue of like, okay, this could be my purpose of how I help tell my story, tell other people's story, share the planet story. um and so yeah, I think first of all, just like finding like your reasoning of like why you want to get involved in helping the planet. And then also, I think another great resource, or maybe not resource, but another great thing to consider is a lot of people think that they need to like go find a new job to work in the climate field or in the green space.
Mhm.
And you don't necessarily need to do that. You could be at a job that is unethical and maybe doesn't have the best like sustainable practices and be a part of the change within that company, you know? But if you are like working at a company and you're like, no, I can't get behind their morals, or, you know, do what you got to do for yourself. But if you want to be a part of change, it doesn't necessarily mean you need to go find a new company to work for. And I think that's something that I wish I took a moment to sit with in my previous career. I wish I kind of just sat and seen like if I could create a segue for myself, or an intersectional um an intersection between the healthcare field and environmental work. And I can definitely go back into that. But I think, yeah, starting small and starting local is great. And then also, like, I think the working in the green space and the environmental field is so new right now. So
Mhm.
you don't necessarily need a degree to do work in this field. Like I did my fellowship through the Teradu, and their sole purpose is to get 100 million people working in the climate field by 2030. So like you can finish a fellowship or do some volunteer work and just kind of start building up your resume.
Mhm.
And those small things will help you get those jobs that you're looking for, or network with people who know someone um to do something like that. And oh gosh, what am I saying like that? But yeah, just like networking with people, and not necessarily like saying to yourself, oh, I need to go get a degree in this field in order to work here, because that's just not necessarily true. I used to do like I used to highlight jobs on this page called climate jobs. It's not active anymore. Well,
Oh.
it's still up on TikTok, but I don't post on it anymore.
Mhm.
um there's this website called climatebase.org, and it allows you to find different internships and jobs, and it allows you to type in like what experience level that you have to kind of navigate those tools. Oh, I'm just talking about resources at this point. You didn't ask about this. I'm
I
so
mean, no,
sorry.
I definitely I mean, no, no, no. No, no, like literally thank you for sharing those resources. Yeah, no. By all means
Just also
continue, yeah.
one more resource I would like to share. Christy, I believe her last name is Drutman
Mhm.
or something like that. And Brown Girl Green is her website, and she has a green job board. And I actually got one of my jobs working for my county there, and it was really nice having that board there to kind of just go through, especially for a person of color. That's what it really emphasizes work for. So I think that's another great resource. So definitely check out her green job board. It has like the best job posting, and it gets updated every week. It's beautiful.
Oh my god, no, it's funny that you mentioned that because actually, I literally the interview before this, I had spoken with Jossie G, from the Green Jobs Board. So yeah, no, it's really cool to it's such a small world, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, no, it's really, I think, and also like thank you for sharing the other resources as well, and highlighting them. Um, you did, I mean, I guess um, this is a question that I've been asking, I guess, like every episode. Um, if you could turn back time, but like butterfly effects aside, what is something that you would say to yourself who, or the version of you, I guess, who is just getting started in this work that you're doing now?
Man, if I could turn back time, talk to Dez back in the day, I would say you were enough. That's something that I think I overlook at times is I feel like I'm not doing enough. I could be doing more. Um, and I would just tell myself to just take it, not even day by day, but just moment by moment, because it can get overwhelming. And that it's all the small steps that you're taking is creating a huge impact. And just like reminding myself that, we're going to come across some failures. Like, for example, the Willow Project got passed, but that doesn't mean we don't have time to stop it still.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, even if you come across a bump in the road, don't don't get worked up about that small, it could be a huge thing, so I shouldn't say small, but don't get worked about that bump in the road. Keep going, keep pushing yourself. At the end of the day, you're doing great, and you can't fix the world all overnight. Just, you got this, Dez. You got this. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really, yeah, that's really great advice. I mean, it can be so overwhelming because there's so many problems in the world. But I mean, like, we got to take care of ourselves at the end of the day. And every like action, just no matter how small, I guess. Because I mean, really anything can have like really big ripples for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I forgot what you just said, but it just like made me like remember, like, also like what I would tell myself is that I need to take care of myself first before trying to help everyone else. Because if you're not taking care of yourself to the fullest extent, how can you show up for other people? So I
Mhm.
think that's also something I would tell myself in the past, is just remember to prioritize yourself along the way of helping others.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's so important to like also like preventing burnout because that's also such a big deal. Um, yeah, I mean, so I guess like this is going back to so you've brought a lot of awareness to the Dachi. I'm definitely butchering the pronunciation. Please correct me. But yeah, no, you're an ambassador also for the 1 million tree planting campaign. And you very recently launched a creator fund. What are some initiatives that you are currently working on and I guess like hope to work on in the future? Like you've spoken on before.
I am planning on doing, have you heard of like van life culture? Like,
I have heard of it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like people like converting vans and like making them into camper vans and like
Mm-hmm.
traveling out of them. So that's something that I really want to do. Um, but I really want to do that because I want to have the opportunity to go ahead and meet people and have the chance to talk to companies all over the country in regards to the work that they're doing, either in the climate field or maybe they have like um, just like a really sustainable and ethical company, and I want to like have the opportunity to highlight those people and um highlight those brands. So that's something that I'm hoping to do here soon in the future. I plan on converting a box truck here within the next couple of months, well, starting the conversion in the next couple of months. So that's kind of what's in the works for me. But I'm also about to just like take a break from social media, even though I kind of have been inconsistent already, just because I mentally have not been doing the best. So I need
Mm-hmm.
to do a reset on myself so I can make sure I can show up as the best version of myself um, here to come in the future, so I can continue to avoid burnout and provide help to everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that breaks are so important. So I'm happy to hear that you're putting yourself first in the future as well. And um also I guess like yeah, no, those projects are super exciting and also like camping or camper life, van life. Um I didn't know the word for it, I guess, or couldn't think of it, but like that's something that I also really want to do because it's so cool to like, to be able to travel the world and like I guess like live in the same space as well as that. Yeah, no, definitely.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll have to,
so
because I plan on having space to allow for people to sleep in with me, so I'll have to come swoop you up.
oh my God, I would love that. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, I want to respect your time. So I guess like to kind of close off, for those who are interested in the work that you're doing and want to, stay up to date with the work that you do, where can they find you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, you can mainly find me on, okay, well, I post more frequently on TikTok in regards to video, but I post more frequently in regards to everyday life on Instagram, and that can be found at EarthToDezz with 2 Z's at the end. And then I do have a website under the works right now that is going to be coming out here soon, and that will be EarthToDezz.com. So you can find me there. And you can also find me as a host on Pique Action. So they're also on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I will definitely be sure to link your platforms and also the resources that you shared today. I I really should know. Yeah, I guess like down here or whatnot. But yeah, no, yeah. Thank you so much for being here. It's really been a pleasure speaking with you today. Definitely, I'd love to stay in touch. And yeah, no, again, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me, Heidi. This is really great experience. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you too.